What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, we have some very, very interesting news. As two-time welterweight world champion superstar boxer, Showtime Shawn Porter, 31 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw, 17 wins by way of knockout, 33 years of age, stands at 5'7" with a 69-inch arm reach, had been ordered by the WBO, World Boxing Organization, to face off and start to negotiate with their fighter, undefeated 3-division world champion, former junior welterweight undisputed world champion, currently the WBO welterweight world champion, who is widely considered by many to be #1 best pound-for-pound fighters in the world, in Terence Crawford, 37 wins, no losses, no draws, 27 big wins by way of knockout. He's 33 years of age, stands at 5'8" with a 74-inch arm reach. With that said, Terence Crawford and Shawn Porter had been ordered by the WBO to begin negotiations, and they gave them a 30-day window to do so. And if they passed the 30-day window, it had to go to a purse bid, which would see Terence Crawford automatically receive 60% and Shawn Porter receive 40% of whomever or whatever network decides to bid and win the purse bid, okay? With that said, they had to September 2nd, and it was reported that both teams, Shawn Porter's team and Terence Crawford's team, they had agreed to ask for an extension from the WBO so they could further negotiate behind the scenes without it going to a purse bid, right? What's interesting is Shawn Porter on his podcast said something very, very interesting. He stated that the day of the purse bid, initially, he didn't think much of the purse bid. It was going to be publicly publicized, where the fans and the boxing world can see it. The actual networks and promoters bidding on the fight for the first time. That's never been done, and not on this scale at least. And there was some high bidders. So Shawn Porter, he stated that initially he didn't think much of it, but as the time rolled around, so it got to the time where the negotiations for the purse bid was about to take place, September 2nd, that Thursday. Shawn Porter, he stated that he started to get excited. He said, I started to get excited, and I couldn't wait to see how everything played out. Now, Shawn Porter, when asked about this on his podcast, he initially stated that he didn't believe that the purse bid would drag out. He think it would be a short procedure, right? And that, it would just be done with quick. What's interesting is Shawn Porter then states he was excited after everybody started talking about it. It was going to be publicized. It was going to be live. He got excited. Then he said the day of, everything changed, and it was disappointing. And so I had to ask myself, what was disappointing? Because what we've been told is that the reason it didn't go to a purse bid and the reason they asked for an extension was because both parties, both teams, decided to sit down in a room once again and negotiate without it going to a purse bid. So for Shawn Porter to say it was disappointing that it didn't go to a purse bid and that it wasn't taking place, now you should be excited that you can get a deal done, because it goes to a purse bid, you automatically only get 40% and Terence Crawford gets 60%. But if it goes to negotiations, you can possibly negotiate getting more money. And this is on your terms. Now you can go to where you guys feel more comfortable where it take place. Because if it goes to a purse bid, whomever wins a purse bid and whatever network and where they so choose to have the fight is where you have to go. But in this case, when you negotiate with Terence Crawford and your teams come together, well, then you can ask for certain things that make you more comfortable, is more convenient to you, and vice versa. But the fact that he said he was disappointed leads me to believe that they're no closer to getting a deal done, agreeing to a deal with both teams than they initially was. And then he says, see you on the 14th. The 14th was the deadline that the WBO set, the extension. So they gave them an extension from the 2nd to the 14th. So he says, see you on the 14th. Meaning that if we see you on the 14th, that means y'all couldn't come to an agreement. That means we're going back to the drawing board, and that means we're going to a purse bid anyway. So you just prolonged the inevitable. We could have just gotten the purse bid on September 2nd. But like I stated, I believe that they got wind that a major player was going to come along, and Top Rank, legendary promoter, and CEO Bob Arum and ESPN were going to lose this fight because they don't have interest in putting up big money for a Shawn Porter fight. Bob Arum has stated that in the past numerous of times that he just don't see the value in Terence Crawford's Shawn Porter fight. He don't want to guarantee Shawn Porter more than $1 million guaranteed purse. He says now we'll give him some incentives on the back end, but he's just not willing to give Shawn Porter big money. Just doesn't see the value there, and obviously he doesn't see the value in Terence Crawford, his own fighter, because he's yet to secure a high-profile, legacy, lucrative fight for Terence Crawford that Terence Crawford has been seeking for quite some time. Mainly, he was trying to get the fight with legendary 8-division world champion Filipino iconic superstar boxer Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao for the better part of 5 years, and has been unable to secure a fight with Manny Pacquiao. So, with that said, we know Bob Arum, he already stated that if Terence Crawford wanted to negotiate a deal with a guy like former unified welterweight world champion superstar boxer Keith one-time Thurman, then he would allow Terence Crawford to go find another promoter to put up the money, guarantee the purses, put on the event, and he would make sure he guaranteed himself ringside tickets to watch them lose money. So it's abundantly clear Bob Arum doesn't believe Terence Crawford is a big draw. We already know he stated that Terence Crawford, he lost so much money on him he could build a mansion in Beverly Hills from scratch. That's how highly he thinks of Terence Crawford's profile and brand outside of the sport of boxing. Just don't think he's a big draw. So I had a lot of reason to believe that we know now. I told you guys that Eddie Hearn, Matchroom CEO and promoter, who has a deal and a partnership with Dazn, the streaming app. He also has ties with Sky Sports, and they're looking to put up big money because they're looking to make a splash. And I told you guys, don't be surprised if you see Eddie Hearn and Dazn come in and make a splash. Just like we saw Triller come in, outbid Eddie Hearn and Bob Arum for the Teofimo Lopez-George Kambosos Jr. fight. Now, Teofimo Lopez, he's a top-ranked ESPN fighter who's a unified, lightweight, undefeated world champion superstar boxer. George Kambosos Jr. is an Australian star boxer who is undefeated and is Teofimo Lopez IBF mandatory challenger. Bob Arum had no inkling and no interest in putting up any money for this fight. He let it be known on numerous occasions, so he said he was going to let it go to purse bid. It went to purse bid. They bid $2.6 million for the fight. Well, Eddie Hearn came in and bid $3.6 million, but out of the blue, unforeseen, Triller came in and bid $6 million and blew them all out the water and won the purse bid. Okay? And I believe, remember, Bob Arum, he stated that if WBO ordered Terence Crawford and Shawn Porter, he would let it go to a purse bid, let Al Heyman, PBC Premier Boxing Champion, founder and advisor, win the purse bid, thus put him on the hook to have to fit the bill and put up the necessary purses for the fight. Okay, he would be accountable for it. So he said he would let it go to a purse bid and let them win the purse bid. So that lets you know he has no interest in winning this purse bid. But remember, the interesting part is Terence Crawford only owes Top Rank one more fight. Do they want to lose a guy at his talent? Because let's say he fights and beats Shawn Porter in a fashion that we've never seen Shawn Porter beaten in. He has 3 losses on his resume at the hands of Kell Brook, Errol Spence, and Keith Thurman. All very, very close fights. He's never been knocked out. He's never been dominated in any fight. He's never been stopped. So if Terence Crawford makes a statement, this could be an announcement. His brand can grow overnight to unforeseen measures, and Top Rank and Bob Arum may not want to lose that opportunity to re-sign Terence Crawford. So they want to make a good impression on Terence Crawford at this point in time, right? They haven't done so thus far. But now, Terence Crawford makes a statement in this level of fight, and then somebody else gets Terence Crawford like PBC or Eddie Hearn, and they're making big fights, and suddenly he's starting to become a big draw. Then Top Rank and Bob Arum are not going to look very well in the public eye, okay? And then we already saw this with Oscar De La Hoya, Floyd Mayweather, Miguel Cotto, Manny Pacquiao, Mikey Garcia. they're getting the biggest paydays of their career once they parted ways with Bob Arum. So with that said, is he's going to run the risk of doing it again with Terence Crawford, because they don't know what it possibly can do if he's able to beat Shawn Porter and turn over a new leaf and suddenly become vocal and suddenly become a big draw and a household name. And people are starting to call it more to see Terence Crawford. He's going to be in high demand. So I think that they're looking to they're playing the fence, so to speak, okay? But it's interesting that Shawn Porter says he was disappointed when it didn't happen, and he'll see you on the 14th. So if you see you on the 14th, that means you didn't get a deal done. And if you was disappointed, that means you're not happy where the negotiations are going right now, currently as it stands. So this is an interesting situation. I think it's going to go to purse bid. And Shawn Porter, he then stated he was happy to see that Eddie Hearn started to bid on it, right? He fist pumped. He was like, yeah, he showed his excitement that Eddie Hearn could possibly bid on this fight. And Eddie Hearn is willing to put up big money because Eddie Hearn is looking to make a huge impression on Terence Crawford, because he could possibly get Terence Crawford to be his American superstar that he's been looking for. Now, he has Anthony Joshua, he has Canelo Alvarez, but they're not American-born fighters that are superstars for the Dazn platform. He would have cornered the market at that point in time. He would have Anthony Joshua in the UK. He would have Canelo Alvarez with the Mexican fan base. And then he would have Terence Crawford should he be able to get the big fights in the American fan base. So he would have cornered the market seriously, okay? Then he still has fighters like Demetrius Andrade and other fighters. So that speaks volumes. And we know Eddie Hearn, he paid Mikey Garcia, 4-division world champion Mexican superstar boxer, $7 million coming off of a loss and a layoff. And he paid Jesse Vargas $3 million coming off a loss and a layoff to fight each other in a non-title fight. $10 million they put up for a main event that wasn't that excited, okay? Imagine what he could do with Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez and Anthony Joshua moving forward for DAZN. So he already came out and he expressed that he was willing to put up the money, and they're definitely going to bid on it should it go to a purse bid. So I believe that PBC and Top Rank may have got wind that they could be outbid, and they decided to prolong it, see if they could come up with an agreement. But the fact that Shawn Porter said, see you guys in September 14th, lets me know I strongly doubt that they get a deal done on their own. So let's see how this unfolds and plays out. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Raw. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.
You're watching Blue Blood Sports TV. Wow.